about the stream. But that's not the way to promote it. It doesn't make sense to have to email to tell people you're streaming. The whole idea is that they get a notification. If they're interested, they sign up for notifications. Otherwise, they don't want to be emailed. They don't want to be bothered. But that's not true because we get a
Tracy says,
much
hi
bigger
Richard, I will
audience
hit a
if we
confirm
email.
wireless in Korea, Japan, and the US.
I don't know anymore. Honestly, I used to think I knew what I was doing. I'm not so sure. Certainly, I don't know about posting. I post on TikTok, zero views. Zero. Not a single view.
Bit Rating says, falling equity
And
prices
I
will
know
have
I'm
strong
posting
effects in Canada,
incorrectly.
Korea, and the
I don't
US.
have hashtags. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do that. I just don't. And my videos are, some people probably think they're terrible. I don't even know. They're stupid. They might be too stupid. Too hard to see. It's too much for one person to do. Unemployment claims. So, trap trade. We expect there will be a reversal. Um,
Bit Rating
we
says, under
have
adverse scenario,
an
growth in the
outer
United States would
tier
be
of
1.5%,
75
and
ticks,
China would be below 4%,
and
and
we
the
have
Eurozone below
a
1%.
stop of 30. So if it moves more than
So the regards
105
to the
ticks,
monetary policy in the
then we'll get
US,
stopped
EU,
out
or the UK would
in one
tighten
direction.
significantly under
So I'm going to
adverse
choose
scenario.
a trap trade. I already have a couple of strategies on the chart because I'm testing. I got the final version of the software. There'll never be a final version. Honestly, there never will be a final version. I'll always be working on this product because I have so many good ideas still. We're going to activate the trap at 8:29:55. All right. The stop is 30. Tier 1 is 40 ticks. Tier 2 is 75 ticks. We're going to label it Trap GC. I have to check what account I'm going to trade it on. All right. And while I'm deciding that, we're going to put a gold reverse continue on the chart. All right. Right click, click strategy, double click news trader, change the breakout to reverse continue, one position, a target of 35, a stop of 35. It's $350 of risk. We're going to label it GC reverse continue. And I've got to figure out where I'm going to trade this. Um, it's a lot of risk for the Lucid account, but what's the Lucid account for? I want to get it passed. So Lucid it will be. Lucid is going to be high risk. Lucid for the reverse continue. That means the trap has to be Lucid also. Lucid's a new account for us. Trap, highlight the trap. 8:29:55 is the trigger, a 30 on the stop, 40 on tier 1, 75 on tier 2. Choose the account, apply it, and OK it. Now, you might want to look at your tiers on a day like today by setting the trap trade to 0 on sim. Why? Because otherwise you're probably going to throw those orders on the chart and the chart's going to be very tight. I'll show you what I mean. Make the times 0, the first two numbers. All right. Put the software on sim so you don't get filled by accident if there's a big burst in gold, which there could be. Put the chart on sim. Spread the chart. All right. You're going to have to spread this chart to get the orders on.
Order submitted.
Okay, that's not bad. Not bad. Now on a trap trade, we cannot get
Order
rid
canceled.
of I don't think we can get rid of the optional line. It's not one of the options on the trap trade. No, it's not. I should ask the programmer to put that on there. I hate the line these days. Put the time back to 8:29. I'm I would recommend if you're trading a trap and you're trading it in a prop account, you might want to make that the only setup you're trading. You need to pay attention to a trap trade in these markets. It can be very fast moving. I do have a reverse continue on also. I'm removing my 8 a.m. breakout, although I suppose you could leave it there for 9 a.m. if you're trading all the breakouts. Now, I'm tempted to up my tiers to like 60 and 110. We did that last week and we didn't get a fill. So I'm going to take the risk and trade it with a little bit more reasonably sized tiers, even though there's tremendous volatility in gold. Why do I say there's tremendous volatility? Look at the amount of movement. 288 ticks. That's not so much, really. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 minutes, though, right? Interestingly, it didn't test the low there. That's pretty fascinating. Calvin, I'm still trying to figure out how to change the color just of my Lucid account. It's got to be in the connection configuration. So I don't want to do it right now. So I think it's very possible that gold will just move in one direction on this news. But I also think it's very possible it'll give us a perfect trap trade. So that's why I'm willing to take the risk. Of course there's risk, but we know jobless claims will move the market. It does move this market. Also, they intersperse the data, jobless claims with Canada data. Like no one pays attention to that Canada data. I shouldn't say that, but
Putin says it's hard to forecast consequences for Middle East conflict.
all right. So we have a reverse continue on. I'm also looking at magnets on gold for signals, but I'm going to wait till the trap is over. We can always turn it on. So I've got a reverse continue and I've got a trap. I'm testing NQ magnets and signals. What a great signal we got at 8 o'clock. I was not ready to trade because we had just come into the room. I was messing around with gold. But a beautiful, beautiful signal. Those are the kind of signals that you love. Close to the low, nicely formed momentum bars, nice volume. There was a lot of the only scary thing is it's hard to go long when the market's so negative, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new lows. That's an excellent time to take a risk. It's less risky than if you have one new low because there's more of an opportunity for another new low to form. We're hoping for exhaustion.
10 minutes ago now to the
Did
top of the
everybody
market.
check
We saw
their
through latest claims weekly data
time
forecast,
sync? Everybody should
210K
check their time sync by going to
205K,
the
with a
website
range of
time
220 to
dot
205K.
is. What do we
This
mean when we
continued
say
jobs
that?
claims forecast 1.849 million,
Go to the
followed by
website
1.854 million, with
time
a range
dot
of
is.
1.875
It
million
checks your
to
computer to see if
1.864
it's
million.
in sync. If it says your time is exact, you don't have to do anything else. If your time is not exact, then you need to download one of the programs that we give you in the trade room file folder that will allow you to sync your computer. D4 Sync, PT Sync, Karen's Time Sync, either or. Both programs install onto your computer and you just click a button, Sync Now, and 9 times out of 10, it'll sync your computer. After you click the Sync Now button, you go back to a fresh browser with time.is and recheck your sync. I'll probably go over that at the challenge today. Just looking at some of the news here. So I don't know if any of you are interested in this professor.
Putin urges caution and
A lot of
conservative approach
people
with regards to
thought the
biodiesel.
professor was an idiot in the comments, that he worked for Obama. So immediately, there's people out there, if someone worked for Obama, they're an idiot. He's been a researcher all his life. You can make your own decision if you think he has an agenda or not. Regardless, whether you think he has an agenda or not, his the conversation was fascinating. Whether you know, like I'm saying, whether you think he's an idiot or not, it doesn't matter. It's one conversation in a group of a million conversations. And he teaches at the University of Chicago. He understands escalation. And, it's up to you to decide what's his agenda. Um, but I just found it a fascinating conversation. I'll put the link in. I'll give you all the link. You
Everyone
tell
keeps
me what you
asking me
think.
how I do my podcast alone. The answer, Riverside.
And the real
I get high
question
quality
is,
podcast recordings right.
what kind of an expert is he? And I do not know the answer to that. So I don't know if anything he said is true or not, but it's interesting. All right. He thinks it's 75% certainty ground troops will be placed. That's pretty high. It's not 100%. All right, all right, all right. Anybody have any questions about the setup? Let me show you the setup one more time. Trap trade gold. Right click the chart, click strategies, double click trap trade, highlight trap trade if you're interested in editing it, and make sure it's unchecked if you want to edit it. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. That's one contract for each tier,
Bonus
each
going out to the
bracket.
initial jobless claims data.
829.55 is the trigger.
5K. Continued jobless claims forecast 1.849 million, prior 1.857.
40 for tier 1, 75 for tier 2. Choose the account you're trading, label it Trap GC. I also have a reverse continuation set up on gold. Trade type, reverse continue, 35 tick target, 35 tick stop. It's $10 a tick on gold. Choose the account you're trading, label it, apply it and okay it, right? Turn it on, and also make sure that your chart trader is on the account your software is set to. Okay? Today is a phenomenal day. I wish the world was safer, but it's baseball opening day. One of my favorite days of the year. When class is done, I'm shutting down my computers and I'm watching baseball. And I think it's going to be a beautiful day today. 77 degrees in Philadelphia. What more could you want than a beautiful, beautiful day? Go Mariners. Yep. And it should be another great baseball season. For us in Pennsylvania, if the Phillies do not win the World Series, it is a complete waste. Last year was the worst. Another horrible losing season. Even though they won more games, they were the division leaders. It means nothing because they were bounced out of the first series with bad managing again. It's the second year that the manager destroyed a season. And I would have fired him. I would have fired him 3 years ago when he blew the season. I cannot tolerate it. I hate the team, but I love baseball. I hate the team. I hate the manager. I'm a terrible person. That's the problem. I'm a very terrible person. But I just cannot tolerate the decisions he made. Now, I would fire myself because I can't tolerate plenty of my trading decisions. I would fire myself. So gold is scary, folks. If you're willing to take this trap trade, you got to be willing to blow the account up or risk, like $1,000 in a cash account. I probably would not risk $1,000 in a cash account on this trade. Now, if I had a $50,000 cash account, I might trade this. If I had a
Which go down to
50,000,
the
I mean,
initial
I'd have to think real hard about it because it is a very inconsistent behaving report. That's not the best way to make money. Certainly in a $10,000 account, under no circumstances would I trade this with cash. I would not. It's just not reliable enough. And then, of course, when it's a winner, I'll make a video about it, how great our setup is. But I'm pretty transparent and honest about what I say. So let's see what happens. Make sure your chart is wide enough so that you can see the cancel button. You got to be able to see the cancel button. That's the
Order
cancel
submitted.
outer tier. Okay, the news is out right now.
210k as expected.
And
210k. Continued jobless claims 1.819
I
million.
would not
1.819
mind getting
million.
filled short.
Higher
Look,
than forecast
we missed our
1.8
trade
below the forecast
by
1.819
40.
million.
It's still going in the
Higher than
direction
revised for
I would
continued
allow
jobless
it to
claims
Order
fill.
1.851
canceled.
Okay,
million.
now it
Individual
filled.
prior of
We
1.8
should get a
1
reversal
million.
here.
Continued jobs claims coming in lower than
Get
expected.
ready to cancel the outer
1.819
tier
million.
if we get a
Higher
reversal.
jobless claims
All
coming in
right?
as expected at
If we
210k.
get a decent reversal, I'm going to say cancel, and I'm going to cancel that outer tier. But I'm going to wait. I still would allow the tier to fill, the second tier. Now I'm canceling.
Order
Now I'm
canceled.
moving my stop to break even. Now there's no reason to lose money. Bring your target up. Now you cannot lose money if you trail as it goes up. You know, you're going to make a few dollars. Try not to get, so I got too close. It's going to take me out for about a $200 trade. Maybe not. I'm going to keep trailing because gold is so volatile. Let's see if it'll go back up. You could close it right now if you wanted to, but I'll trail. My stop's on the wrong side. It should have taken me out. That should have taken me out of the trade. I think I'm going to close this trade.
Order canceled.
Well, I don't have to. 470. I know why that didn't take me out because I was holding the order. I had not released it physically. Okay, 470 could have made more. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Building up this Lucid account. I want to pass this Lucid account this week. I don't want to deal with anything. I don't want to deal with anything in terms of rebilling. I want an immediate passing of the eval this week. That's my goal, to try and pass the eval this week. How close am I? Not that close yet. Lucid. $51,322. Not even halfway. I didn't even check. I would assume we got to get to 3,000 on Lucid. That's our target. So we're not quite halfway. We've only just started trading it this week. Now the NQ. The NQ. If signals were on all signals, you would have had a fantastic signal off the S2. Right there. Yep. Stop goes above the S2. You had two great signals. But you have to know how to use ARS standalone. As long as you understand, it's actually very simple. It's very simple, actually, to understand how the signals are generated. It's very simple. Hang on, I'm just testing something. And once you understand how the signals are generated, it's not 100%, but it's probably 80. Finally, the programmer did what I wanted him to do after begging. We finally understood each other. It's so important that we understand each other. It does the filtering. We now have the filtering that I wanted. So it's something we're going to talk about today. Now, let me just try one more thing and then we'll go on to oil. We'll go to oil. Today, these markets are amazing scalping markets. They're absolutely amazing for scalping and amazingly risky if you scalp. Yep, there should have been no signal. Beautiful, Beautiful, beautiful. But I have to talk to him about one more thing. One more thing. NQ is going to test that low again. So I have this account, right? I have this crazy account. And it's too late. I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's too late. It's made the low. So I'm not going to jump in and take a crazy trade. Account number 29. All I can do is scalp in that account, pretty much. Or trade micros. It's a micro account. So look, if I trade an account that I care about, Calvin, then it's probably worth the risk in a prop account to trade full size, but understanding that it could blow up the account. That's the risk. But so I was willing to trade it in an account that matters to me. And partly because we have seen pretty good results on the trap trade at 8:30 on gold. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. The news was almost exactly as expected. I wouldn't call it, it's certainly not bad news. Jobless claims are lower, slightly lower than expected. And continuing claims also slightly lower. It was almost exactly what they expected. And then we will have natural gas later. We'll stick around for that. And now the question is, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with the oil open? So let's turn off our gold stuff for the moment. Right now everything's off. Putting the NQ magnet on to watch signals. Let's put an NQ. Well, we always watch the YM now, so I'm going to go over to the YM, I guess. Let's go over to the YM in the middle. So let's do what we normally do. YM has been successful, 0626. I actually prefer to trade the NQ, MNQ, but I like the YM a lot on the open. It's been working very nicely for us. Now we're at new lows, just made new lows on the YM. So I have to modify the magnet. It's set up for an NQ magnet. Slight modification for the YM. The YM is not nearly as volatile as the NQ. So looking at the strategy, we had one target, one position at the magnet, 3 ticks before it gets there. And then we could do a second position, 15 ticks through the magnet. And that's actually above where I just put it. Target 2 offset would be 15. 15 ticks above or below the magnet. If it's a high, it's above. It's below, it's below. The stop, I wish we could get away with a 40 tick stop on the YM, but most of the time it should be moved around market structure. Sometimes it'll be 70, 80 ticks. With magnet trades, you want your stop very often to use market structure. So what do I mean by that? Looking at gold here, right? Just for a moment, looking at gold. I'm going to turn off the trap. I'm going to remove the trap so it removes that line. When I say market structure, so you have market structure here. You kind of have consolidation. Even though some of these candles are fairly large, this is not consolidation. This is not consolidation. This is closer to consolidation. So I look at that as market structure. And I'm no great
So
technical
to be reported
analysis
to House
person
Budget
at
Chair
all.
Errington meeting
So
basically repetitive
my
visuals and talking about new
entry on the
sports
long
fundamentals.
side normally would be above market structure or below on the short side market structure, right? So that's what I mean when I say market structure. I like using the market structure for a stop and for entries and targets, etc., because it's more effective than just choosing random stops. But sometimes, because there's so much risk in the markets, sometimes you just want a random stop. In other words, let's say you want to take a short here on gold. And we know that gold could blow up your account in seconds. There could be an announcement made by somebody or a tweet somewhere. So you could just have a random 25 tick stop if you take a short here. Now, that would be probably right above the market structure. In this case, it would make sense. But you might even have, what if you had a 15 tick stop? It would be in the middle of candles. I don't like that kind of a stop as much as a stop that makes more sense. All right. Let's look at oil. So oil's been crazy all week. It's been crazy for a month, obviously. Yesterday it was down like $3, $4, right? Today it's up $4. Is it going to go test the high right now while we're sitting here? So which is the account I can only scalp in? Number 30, 29. 29 is my scalping account. Do I want to just buy a random? Let's put a reverse continue on oil real quick. We'll put a 25 target and a 25 stop. We'll put it on account 29 and we'll label it CL reverse continue. And we'll make sure we're on the right account. Okay. See, the fact that I didn't jump in saved me from a disaster. Don't jump. Let's say you change to a chart, right? Most of the time, my experience, and I'm not saying this is totally true, but most of the time, if you change to a new chart and see something you're interested in and immediately jump into a trade, have you really had the time to make an intelligent analysis of that chart, that price action? Sometimes, you see something that you're positive you should trade. But most of the time, when you do things in a rush, you pay the price, right? Most times when you rush, you pay the price. Let me heat up my coffee, everyone. I'm going to leave my mic on. I'll be back in 2 minutes. You're going to hear the noise. My coffee's so cold, I can't stand it.
Continent facts. Transneft is to redirect oil from Baltic ports.
Okay. Testing. Testing 1 2 1 2. What happens when I walk away?
Analysts say they feel extra load on pipe system due to Hormuz.
My webcam tries to follow me, so I got to try and make it work now on the internet. Everything's delayed online, so that may make it work. Let's see if the webcam's working now. Should be working. I think it's probably going to be working. All right. So I'm going to still set up the breakout on oil, even though it didn't work yesterday. Oh, I can't do it on this account, though. I can't do it on a scalping account. I have to do it on a regular prop account. So the oil breakout really has not been very good, if you want to be honest about it. It's probably lost. If anything, it's flat or down. It's not up since I started trading it. Yesterday, it got stopped, and it's not a vetted trade. I've said this over and over. It's a trade just because we're here. That's the only reason I'm taking it. It's not a recommended trade. It has not been working that well. Okay? But it's fun to try it because you can do it in a prop account that's for risk. That if it gets damaged, it doesn't really matter. So looking at, we have a reverse continue set up. I do think oil's probably going to go test the high again. But it may reverse on the open, which happens a lot. You know, you get an open, all the retailers think it's going up, and in fact it goes down to stop them all out. Then it'll start going back up because it's been so bullish on the day. You know, looking at oil on a 15-minute chart, it's unbelievably bullish today. And that started pretty much at about an hour after the market opened last night. It made a low, and then it just went on a relentless tear. It's up more than $4 now. All right. So it's very bullish. Yesterday, it was pretty bearish part of the day. But at the end of the day, when we were trading in the morning, it also then started. When we got here, look, it was 9 in this area here. Oil was looking somewhat bearish. And then after the open, it never looked back, really. So it's been bullish for 2 days. Very bullish. So, oil's bullish. I think we'll get a test of the high. You never know if it'll come on the open, though. That's what we don't know. Will it come on the open? Don't know. That coffee is hot. Hot, hot, hot. As Buster Poindexter would say, hot, hot, hot. All right, don't forget, we had an NQ magnet on the YM charts. We need to readjust that. Right click. You could either double click your magnet or highlight your existing magnet if you had one. High of day, low of day. Proximity on 3. Position 1 is a -3. That means I'm getting out 3 ticks before I get to the high or the low. And position 2 is a 15. Target 2 offset. And that means if the market goes through the magnet by that amount of ticks, 15, it'll be a second target. Stop is 40, and the target one stop move is BE for break even. If it hits my first target, I want to move my stop to break even. So that's my YM magnet. I've got to relabel it YM magnet. And what account do I want to trade it in? Usually we trade the YM in our funded account in the morning. You know what? I've been doing it in Lucid, and I've been doing the RTY funded. That's what we've been doing. So we also have a new funded account, and that's up a couple of $100. We could use that account also. Let's use Lucid. I want to keep building that account. YM magnet. High of day, low of day. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Target 1 offset is -3. Target 2 offset is 15. And right now the stop is 40. Target 1 stop move, BE. We're going to label it YM magnet. Choose the account. Apply it. OK it. Put the chart trader on the account you're trading it and turn it on. Okay. Lucid, turn it on. Now I don't have a gold magnet. I'm removing that. We want to put on a YM reverse continue. Click News Trader, change the breakout to reverse continue. Position 1 is a 1 or a 2, as many contracts as you want to trade. 35 ticks. Target, 35 tick stop. That'll also be on Lucid. Label it YM reverse continue. And then you choose, put the account on the same account as your magnet. You can't really change accounts while you're trading. When you have multiple setups on one chart, they should all be on the same account. Generally, because it's hard to change accounts in the middle of a trade, right? Now, when you turn on a high of day, low of day, you got to adjust your orders. I certainly want to enter before, on the long side, before the previous open. I don't think we're getting there. I don't think you have to worry about the previous open on this morning's YM. Now, here's an interesting market structure entry. Market structure on the short side, and I'm watching this oil, let's finish setting up oil because it's 9 o'clock. All right, we'll come back to the YM. It's not a very big target if you get in using market structure. That's all I could say. Now, why the oil trade, the breakout's pretty lousy. The oil trade's pretty lousy. The breakout. So there's no law that says you can't go long now for a test of the high. Where would you put your stop? I would consider putting a stop in one of two places. Right there, in that area, or in this area. That's using market structure, in my opinion. The setup, but I'm going to do one more. I'm going to try another breakout. See if we can get a breakout to work on oil. I'm trying to think what account I'll trade it in. I can't trade it in 29. It won't allow that many contracts full size. So let's set up the breakout. Click News Trader. Go to the template. Load New Oil Open. Oil New Open is what it's called. Oil New Open. right-click it and date it correctly, rename it. Today's date is the 26th. Load it, saves it, and it's a breakout trade. Can we get away with a 15 bracket? Time is set to 0. It should be 8:59:59. Position 1's a 1, position 2 is a 1. Target of 8, target of 30, stop of 25, 25.30 should be the stop. Be prepared to manage the trade. I'd be surprised if it bursts 30 ticks. Anything could happen. CL breakout open. Let's apply it for a second. Okay, it's on sim. Look at the chart on sim. Look at the bracket with 0 time.
Order submitted.
All right. I think we can get away with a 15 bracket in this current volatility.
Order canceled.
So that's what we'll try. What account do I want to trade it in? That's my question. That's what I'm wrestling with. I've got a bunch of money made on a whole bunch of accounts. Let's go back to 35. That's what we've been working on all week. Been working on 35 all week. I made 75 bucks on it last night. I don't remember what I scalped. So we'll put our oil breakout on 35. It's an account we've been using all week. 8:59:59 is the trigger time. Number 35, apply it. And then the reverse continue also goes on account 35. Apply it, okay it. Chart trader 35, so you see your orders. Turn them both on. Breakout, reverse continue. On the YM magnet, the way I'm trading it this morning, I'm using 2 positions, Roz. I always use a default target 1. I always exit a magnet 3 ticks before it gets to the magnet. All right, always. Today, I think Francis already got you. Francis, the one thing that I'm doing differently, target 1 is 30. No, target 1, so high of day, low of day. That's the key. High of day, low of day. There's no target with a high of day, low of day. The target's the magnet. So when you're doing target, high of day, low of day, my position is a 1 contract. Target is -3. You had it right, Francis. The target's -3. What does that mean? 3 ticks before it gets to the high or the low. Target 2 is 15. What does that mean? 15 ticks above or below the magnet. If it goes through the magnet, hits our first target and keeps going before it reverses, that's our second target. And I'm using target 1, stop move at break even, BE. And my stop is 40. And I'm prepared to make a bigger stop. And I'm trading it on Lucid. If I was going to adjust the orders, I'm not really planning on trading the YM yet.
Unchanged at 3.64%.
It's a little bit early. Here comes oil. Here comes oil. Let's watch oil and see if this trade is viable or if it's just not tradable. The breakout, it really hasn't been making money. That's the honest truth. It has not been making money.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Impossible. So look, it looks like a bad fill, the worst kind of fill, a short on a positive day. But you know what happens. Sometimes we get reversals on the open. It may be short-lived,
Order filled.
hits the first target. I'm
Order
not
filled.
trailing, so just a small 7-tick profit. And that's the way, that's the best we've been getting from this report. Now look, maybe my second target's just too darn big, right? I used a 30 target. It might be too darn big, but it's okay. You're managing it, but we got, I'm just watching price. Clearly, you're getting a reversal. So moving the stop might be taking full risk on this trade, might be the smarter way to trade it. Don't use the target one stop move because we would have hit our second target here. Instead of it being a $70 trade, it would be a $400 trade, right? If you don't protect the profit, which means you're willing to have a bigger loss, right? Means a bigger loss. But we came pretty close to that second target. Our second target was 30. Originally, when we traded this, we used 20. So it might be better. Use 8 and 20. Don't move the stop on the target one stop move. Just leave it alone. Trail it manually. See if you can manage it for a little bit better profit. So those are my thoughts about the oil trade. Because it was a good move here. The current price when we put our orders on the chart is the orange arrow. So the current price moved 46 ticks or so. Take away the bracket, you have 30 ticks of possible profit. Figure a little bit of slippage, especially if it's live, right? So maybe we would have had about 25 ticks, 28 ticks of profit on that available. Let me post the webinar. Everybody's still welcome, of course, to come to the webinar. If you missed the first class, you're still welcome to come. Today's going to be the best day, I think, of the webinar. And tomorrow will be great also. Be a ton of education. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of my oil setups. Buy oil. You could turn it off. Turn it off. Right click, remove it. Right click, remove it. This is another reason why we label our trades. You want to clean up the control center. Change the chart because we trade the MNQ in the morning. I'm tempted to start trading the NQ on the open. I would probably use an 80 tick stop if I traded the NQ on the open. Maybe even 100. The reason I'm tempted is the funded account. It's just moving so slowly. It's just moving so slowly. I need to do some gold scalping in that account. It's maybe not, but you know what I mean. It still needs almost $1,500 still to try to request a payout. Needs a lot. Needs a lot. All right, we have our YM set up. Francis, what did they raise the margin to on CL per contract? You mean you mean they wouldn't let you trade? It didn't do any damage to your account or anything like that, right? You mean it just refused to let you take the trade, right? Let's put a reverse continue on the MNQ. Get ready for the open. Click News Trader. Reverse continue. Put a couple of contracts on. Yeah, that's so unfair that it lets you trade and then takes you out with a loss. You know what I mean? That's so unfair. It shouldn't let you trade. Don't let it trade. Don't make it a loss. That's when you feel like you're being scammed. That's when trading feels like a scam, right? When things like that happen. I mean, it's not fair. It's like in my funded account, I lost $100 this morning because I couldn't trade that number of accounts. It should not have let me trade. It's automated. There's no reason why it can't not let you trade. It's not like a human being is watching the number of number of contracts I put on. Reverse continue, our target on the NQ. I'm going to make 75 the target, 75 the stop. MNQ, scalp, 2 contracts. And what account do I want to use on the MNQ? Let's use that. I want to build up that. I guess let's use that 30 account. MNQ reverse continue. I want to get this account funded. Let me make sure I have the right account. It might be 29 that I want. It's 30. 30's $400 away from being funded, I believe. I didn't realize it was so close. Let's get that going. We're going to work on number 30 today. 30. All right, and let's put our breakout. The broker will never take the hit. Never, never, never. Although that's not so true, Arthur. I believe that AMP took a monster hit. Here's my theory. AMP is a pretty good broker as far as brokers go. You know, you got to realize the broker is not your friend. The broker is a partner. And partners sometimes do things you don't like, right? That's how you look at the broker. They're your partner. You can't trade without them, but they're not your friend. And they're truly not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves. So margins aren't for you. Margins are for them. My theory during the pandemic is when oil went below zero, AMP lost a monstrous amount of money. Now, this is just a theory. I don't know it to be true. But why do I think it's true? Because from that moment on, they changed all their risk control more than any other broker that I had ever seen. You know, Ninja didn't change their risk rules, but AMP didn't even allow oil trading for days after that. Everyone else was allowing the trading. So something, I believe something happened. It was never publicized. It was never anything public. But I believe, this is just, like I said, a personal thought, that when oil went below zero, the futures, many accounts got blown up, and they had accounts that they, you know, lost money on because customers got blown up and couldn't cover. That's what I think. Do I know that to be true? I don't know it to be true. But I do know that all their risk rules changed. They maintain a lot of those risk rules today. That's when we started seeing a lot of margins being raised before news. We never used to see that the way that we do now. Even Ninja does that now. But the most important thing to remember is the broker is protecting themselves. It's not that they don't care about us. They want you to stay in business so that you keep losing money for them to make. You keep trading. They make your fees. If you're out of business, they don't function. So that's why they are partners. And as far as brokers go, NinjaTrader treats us great. They're a good broker, in my opinion. They treat us very well. And they absolutely seem to be honorable. You may not like all their policies, but IBKRC, Interactive Brokers, reimbursed all CL trading clients. I don't now. You're not being specific enough on the situation, Arthur, so I can't really comment on it. Now, MNQ, let's put a magnet on and a breakout. So we'll put our trade, our main trade for the open is a breakout. We have a template. Load the template. Now, Interactive Brokers, they don't have day trade margins. In all the years I've been trading, Interactive Brokers does not have discount margin for day traders. They have the same margins for everybody, and their margins are outrageously high. They don't seem to want day traders as customers, honestly, because they have never had margins friendly to day traders. Now, what am I doing? I'm looking for my MNQ new open breakout. Now, that doesn't mean they're a bad broker. MNQ new open, right click and date it today. It means that's the type of customer they want. It's like people complain. People are so ignorant. People complain. They wouldn't let me in the store because they didn't like the way I was dressed. They're a private company. A store is private. They cannot allow you in. It's not constitutionally protected activity that you're allowed into a store no matter what. It's private. Stores are private. They can make rules like that. 326. Interactive brokers can make rules that they don't want day trade margins. They're very profitable. Very profitable. What's fascinating is they used to have an API that let you connect Ninja to them. It probably still works. But because their margins were so lousy, we never used them. Lousy for day traders. All right, so 929.59 is our trigger, but we're going to check the bracket. Our bracket's 35 targets. Usually we use 30 to 40, and I use 100 as my second target. Stop of 21.25. Target one stop move is break even. This trade's already labeled break even MNQ open. This is our normal bracket, our breakout trade. We take it every morning. Most mornings it hits the first target and reverses. Roz, remember how to tell what contract it is. If you know the prefix, like let's say you don't know the YM, click a blank space on a chart, type the first two letters of the prefix, and then scroll down, look for the future. E-mini Dow future, double click it, and that will put the current contract on that chart.
According to the Wall Street Journal, most investors see a ceasefire by the end of April in a Deutsche Bank survey.
All right, back to the MNQ. We're testing on SIM the size of the bracket in the current volatility.
It's around 54%
Order
are
submitted.
expecting the war to end at the end of April.
Okay, not bad.
Order
Not bad.
canceled.
Right click the chart, re-highlight the breakout, make sure it's not checked. If it's checked, you can uncheck it from inside the software. There's an enabled button, but never enable your software from inside. Uncheck the enabled button and press apply, and it will let you edit. And then put it on the account you want to trade. What are we going to trade the MNQ open on? I think we're going to try 30. That's what we said. 30. I don't know if it'll let us trade that many contracts. It might not. It's possible it might not let me. 929.59 on the trade. On the entry, account is chosen. Everything is labeled. One more time on the setup. We have a 35 bracket, 30 target, 100 target, two positions, stop of 125. Calvin, I think you're the only person left in the world that uses Sierra charts. I know why you're using Sierra charts, because you used to trade with Infinity. That's how far back you and I go. We were using Infinity before they got sold, right? Am I right? I bet you $1 million I'm right. You were not Infinity? Then how'd you wind up with Sierra charts? No one else used Sierra charts. No one. It was a nice platform, but it wasn't very popular. But they're still around. Now, on the RTY, we're going to put our reverse continue.
According to head of lobby, Russia does not have any free capacity to produce more fertilizers now.
35 tick target, 35 tick stop, reverse continuation. We trade this in our funded account, 66. Label it RTY reverse continue. Apply it and OK it. Turn it on in Chart Trader. All right. Make sure the account is on number 66. And then now we also put on our range trade. Right click, click strategy, double click news trader, change the breakout to a range trade. This particular setup, go down to range trade. The range starts at 925. 0, 0. 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below the range. Check, show the range graphics on chart. Optional, Show the vertical line on entry. I'm turning that off. Go up to range end. Activate range end. 9:30, 00. 9:30, 00. Position 1's a 1, position 2's a 1. We have a target of 10 and 20. Thinking of increasing the targets. I'll tell you what I was thinking. Yesterday was a really nice move. 35 stop I use. All right. That's my range setup. I'm just going to leave everything pretty normal this morning. That's the setup. Label it RTY range. Okay, you could call it RTY open. I don't care what you call anything. Just make sure it has a different name than every other
Speaking to the
setup.
Washington Post, the Pentagon is considering whether to divert weapons intended
Choose
for
the
Ukraine
account,
to the Middle East.
apply it,
War in
and
Iran
okay
hits
it.
some of the US's military's most
And now we
critical
have a
munitions,
range trade.
according to 3 people familiar with
I would also put a magnet on both the MNQ. Remember, put a magnet on every chart. That should be your mantra. High of day, low of day is actually quite good today for the MNQ. And I'm just going for the first position, 3 tick target, -3. And I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to label it MNQ magnet. All right. And our MNQ, we are trading it in account number 30. So when you turn first you have to turn your RTY range trade on. I would put a magnet on the RTY also. Remember, when you turn your magnet on, you get your orders, okay? You can look and see where your order entry is. If it goes to the high side, we're buying at 10, we're getting out roughly at 20. So that's 10 points. That's about 40 ticks of profit. It's not that big of a trade. And on the downside, we're selling for about the same, 10 ticks, 10 points. I'm not so much looking for the magnet as much as I'm looking for signals after the open. Look at the beautiful signal. 8:35 seems to be a magic time. Yesterday we had a fantastic 8:35 signal on the YM. Look at this signal on the NQ. It's not, it's not my favorite signal because price was way off where the stop would be, much, much higher. But it was a very volatile price drop, probably caused by news. If you've got a big risk tolerance, if you have a big risk tolerance, when you see a big news drop and you just blindly reverse it, many times you will be rewarded for taking that crazy risk. Now, when I say blindly, I don't mean you have to do it without a stop and a target. You've got your reverse continue. So when I say make believe there's no signal here, right? Make believe there was no signal. And you got this big drop. Preferably, I'm thinking a 1 candle drop, not a trending drop like that. If you get a big drop like that and you blindly go long, using the reverse continue though, so you have a stop and a target, you might want to increase your stop and your target. but often you'll get rewarded if you go long on a big drop or short on a big burst in a news-driven market like this. But just to give you an idea, if you had gone long, maybe you would have filled somewhere around here. So how big would your stop have needed to be? 60, 70 ticks at least. So if you're going to scalp these markets, we want to probably make sure that our stops, like our MNQ reverse continue, should probably be 100 ticks on the stop. So that's what I'm putting it on. All right. It's not a very big stop. It's only $50. It's only 50 cents a tick in terms of if you're calculating it, if it were a live account. Now, not 100 target. You could do 100 target also. These markets are moving. My stop
Saudi's Al Jadan says we will see even more
should be 100.
we'll see even more severe disruption in oil than COVID if Iran conflict is not resolved.
Apply it. Okay it. Turn it back on. So let's make sure all of our accounts are right. The RTY is calculating.
Minister of Finance Al Jadan speaking.
RTY is calculating. The markets are pretty darn negative. RTY on indicators on net change display should be looked at on points. We have some wacky buttons. If you get wacky buttons like that,
Voice
uncheck
news disconnected.
your setup and recheck things. Sometimes you have to do them in different orders. MNQ, MNQ. Give me a second. We have a lot of MNQs. Put the magnet on first, and then the reverse continue. And now all the buttons are fine. So sometimes because of Ninja, you just won't see all the buttons. It's just a fact of Ninja being button crazy. It's not our programming, I swear. So we've got the one thing I think I forgot to do in the RTY range trade. No, I didn't. Did we put it to break even if it hits the first target? I think we did. Target one stop move? No, we didn't. RTY. Target of 10, target of 20. Usually we do a target one stop move. If it hits the first target, put the target at break even.
One minute to go now till we get the market
Turn
and
it back
open
on.
imbalance data.
All right, so it's calculating our range. Our breakout will be here, and I guess I will turn our YM auto mode on. It's certainly possible, the YM. Now, the YM, I would also want to make sure target one stop move is BE. Everything's good. We should be ready to go. I would be surprised if we have a long on
10
the
seconds.
YM. I would be surprised, but you never know.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled. Order
Our current
submitted.
open imbalance: S&P
Order
500
filled.
I
sell
tried
side
to expand my
219 million,
target.
Nasdaq 100 buy side 3.1 million,
Looks like
Dow 30
RTY
sell
is going to
side
struggle
38
here.
million,
It
maximum buy
might be a
side
stop. Maybe
4.7
not.
million.
Maybe not. If it'll pop up, it would be a miracle. I think it would be a miracle. I think the RTY is, I'd be shocked if it gets up to the target. It's trying. It's trying, but there's so much negative. There's a lot of negative price action.
US stocks extend full, Nasdaq down
If it
1.16%.
goes to the first target,
Order
it
filled.
got there. I'm expanding the second target, and I'm going to trail it. Oh,
So S&P 500
sorry.
opening 0.7,
Trailing
about
it,
0.7% lower, and
expanding the
Nasdaq
target
down
to the
1.1%.
VWAP. Trailing, got too close probably. Probably too close. This is my funded account. Trailing, trailing, expand the target above the VWAP. What do I care? Trail, trail, expand the target more. Trail. I can't believe this trade is
Order
going up.
filled.
Okay, pulled back. Nice little trade. Nice little trade on the YM, on the RTY. YM didn't trigger yet. We can get rid of our RTY range. Everybody should thank Langford for this setup. It's a great setup. We use a bigger, slightly bigger stop, so I'll take a teeny bit of credit for maybe helping one or two trades out of 50. But Langford shared that setup. Getting rid of my MNQ open breakout. We don't need that either. So MNQ magnet, I want to see those buttons though. I screwed up. That's my YM magnet. My mouse is a mess. MNQ reverse continue. Interfere. Button interference is such a pain. Okay, there we go. RTY, I'm done trading the RTY. I did not put a magnet on, but I'm not going to scalp the RTY. I'm just not. Now the MNQ, if you put on your test of the low, it could get there and test the low. It's possible. It's pretty darn choppy. I'm not so sure I want to give up all these profits this morning, right? You can say, no, I don't want to do it, and wait for signals, right? Don't you think it's going to do it? That it's going to test that low. The YM's looking lower. The RTY's looking lower. I mean, it's not going to blow up the account if it doesn't work.
US listed shares of gold miners fall as gold prices decline more than 2%.
It's pretty choppy though, right? You do have momentum on your side. You have nice volume from the open. It's down a lot, 260 points. You don't have to take every trade. There's no law that says you must take this trade because the setup looks good. You know, it's been very bullish before the open. You know, it might be just let's get rid of all the retail traders at the open that went long at the open, right? That's what this market could be doing, could have done. So I'm turning off auto for a moment. YM, I'm just watching. We've made a ton of money this morning. We've made a ton of money. Very nice, Francis. Very nice. This is another really good open. Now, I'll make a video on the RTY trade, how to manage for the most possible profit in a fast, volatile trade.
Hans Tasnim citing a source of knowledge that Iran has
That'll be
officially
my video
responded to
for
US
today.
15-point proposal. So again, Tasnim says that Iran has officially responded to US 15-point proposal.
I think it's one of the most important lessons that we teach. Expand the target, expand, trail the stop. It's a good method. What's today's date? 26th. So I'll make that video and I'll probably show it during the class. It's a good lesson in trade management. It's really hard, Francis. It was very fast. And my mouse is stinky too. I have a stinky mouse. It doesn't respond
Seeing
that
US
great,
solicitor shares of silver miners
as
falling
good
as
as I
silver
would like it
prices
to.
decline
It's something you
4%.
can practice. You can practice with the replay. So I highly recommend you, Francis. You cannot believe how many replays I've done in my life. You wouldn't believe me. When I first got here, my boss would not let me change a thing. In other words, if I made one change on the DMM in the trade room, I would get really dressed down. It was about 5 years before I was allowed to change things. And even today, 10 years in, I hear it if I change things. I don't hear it very much anymore. But and I understand he puts his time in, it's his analysis. But on the other side of the coin, we're in the trade room every single day, and he's not. So I think being in the trade room every single day trumps a DMM in terms of the final setups. And I'm not always right. Sometimes he's right, even given that he's not in the trade room as much as I am. The MNQ was great. I could not get my MNQ expanded, Calvin. I tried. It was on my mind, but I was watching the RTY also. I could not get the MNQ expanded. The target. It could have had a bigger target. I only used 100 target. Probably should expand our target to 150. I don't like making the first target too big because that creates a lot of losers if you don't hit that first target. What's your first target, Calvin? What are you using as your first target? 20. See, 20 is small to me. 20 is almost not worth trading on a micro. So here's our entry. That would have been the magnet entry if you had it on auto mode. It would have filled you. Where would your stop have to be? You got to be above the market structure. You got to be above 24,160 here. It's a very big stop. That's an 80 tick stop. 80 point stop, 320 ticks. Still, it's not that much money on the MNQ. It's worth having that big a stop because it'll probably test the low. Watch. Let's watch. We're here. I'm not going anywhere till natural gas is done. So we're here till 10:30. I'll probably maybe trade some signals. So watch what's going to happen here. It's going to test the low. It's going to test. It's going to do it right now. I'm a dope for not trading it. Chicken. Okay, there it is. There's your test. Yes, in retrospect, the VWAP was definitely a great target, Francis, and that's what I was thinking when I was expanding my price also. That when I was expanding the target, in the rush, in the chaos of expanding targets and trailing stops in real time,
It's further detail than Iranian media citing an official source says we sent our response to the
sometimes
American
it doesn't
proposal
register that
yesterday.
the VWAP would have been the best target. And you would just go there first, right? Go there pretty quickly after the trade starts, after the trade's put on the charts. That's why sometimes it does make sense to trigger your trades with 0 time
So we're still waiting to see
before
what
the open
any
and
of the
analyze
details.
the chart before the open so you could pre-plan what you'll do if you get a great move. There's no
So
law
Tasnim
that says
says
you
this,
can't
citing
pre-plan.
informed source, that Iran is now waiting the other side's response to its position on the American proposal. Yet it's not clear what they've actually given, but just getting that from Tasnim News.
All right, let's recap. I'll recap for you everything that I did this morning. But let's go over the official stuff. Official. Unemployment. It is official. We have a DMM and we have a setup. Full transparency. I told everybody it's a very high risk event, but I do think the trap trade has been doing pretty decent. And I traded it in a Lucid new account that I like. And the trap trade was a very nice winner on gold unemployment. I think we made about 550 on that trade. Then we go to the oil open. The oil open. Oh, darn it. Couple of things while we're here. We have some time, so let's do some interesting things also. Oil open was a 7-tick winner. It was a breakout. It hit target 1 and reversed. All right. Make sure that you keep a journal and you notate your setup. Like you want to write down, what was your trap? I'm late. I'm late to take this long, right? That's a pretty good long. It's a pretty good long signal. I'm late.
Order submitted.
I'm definitely late on it.
Also says that they emphasized for Iran it's clear that the US claim of negotiations is merely a third deception project.
Now the stop, really, your stop is supposed to be below the low of the day. I don't want to take that kind of risk on this trade. I'm not even dying to take the long, to be honest. So I might not. Yeah, that's what I didn't want to happen. Get a total reversal. Here's where your stop's supposed to be on this trade. 285 ticks. But I'm not that interested in losing money on this trade.
Order
So I'm
filled.
just watching and closing. I got in too late, so I just probably just covered my expenses there. The YM, it's a little bit late now to take the magnet, but
Just keep an eye on the S&P 500, just seeing some movement towards
we
the
may be
upside
getting
here.
this upward movement because
Not
the
seeing
news
it being
about
related to the Iran news headline,
settlements,
but if it is,
ceasefires,
there
all
isn't any
this
link to it
news
so far.
is
But again, it's just
possibly
the Iranians
creating
making
this
their
upward
point
movement.
that acts of aggression and
All right,
assassinations
it
must
could
end.
be,
This is
could
something
be.
that has been said yesterday as well. So just coming through from Tasnim. in response to the US's 15-point proposal.
There were a couple of events yesterday. Now that's a very, very late signal. I gotta check something. Do you want to go long YM on the magnet here? I think it's pretty darn risky.
Order submitted.
The stop really needs to be absolutely below the first candle,
So from Tasnim is
right?
cited the informed
Gotta be
source that
below
the
the
Iranian
first
response
candle.
stressed that the ending of the war must include all fronts,
It should
including
be
resistance
below.
factions. So again,
Um,
it's been
it should
repeated
be below
by
the
the Iranians,
VWAP, but
but
it's
coming through
way
from
too
there
big
as
of
the
a
response
stop.
to the
I'm
US's
not willing to
15-point
give
proposal.
back every bit of profit. I'm not feeling great about this trade at all. Not at all. Because of the stop. The problem is the stop. It's got to be really big. Too big. Too big. I just want to protect. It's too late now. I entered this stupid trade. Sometimes you just have to watch, right? Sometimes you just want to watch. I think this is going to get us. I think it's going to get us. I'm not going to put my stop all the way down below the VWAP. It's too much money lost. As it is now, I'm going to give up my profit if it stops. And I'm not happy about that. Now, I'll show you some eventual signals. The
Order
MNQ,
failed.
well, look at that. Look at that. Let's see if it goes through the high.
Also
That's
from
pretty
Tasnim, they
insane.
did say Iran seeks guarantees war will not be repeated.
Okay, so we didn't lose. I really thought that trade, I had no faith in that trade. I had no faith in that trade. MNQ magnet is on high of day, low of day. I want it on off, all right? Another really good signal. This wound up being a good signal, but if you remember, we were already on this candle when the signal generated, I'm pretty sure. So it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And it did not get to the high. Did not get to the high. If I hadn't, not yet. Not yet. Wouldn't have stopped us out yet either. Not stopped out yet either. Now, hang on, I'm just updating my. You don't know what news is what. James, I don't understand the question. What do you mean? What do you mean? Um, I'm just looking. We didn't even look at the oil report yesterday. I think the API had a gigantic move yesterday and Australia's CPI. 3 reports we didn't look at this morning. That was a magnet, but I shrunk my orders just because I wanted to get out I really felt I was going to get stopped out. I didn't trust it. I didn't trust it. No reason why, though. It came close, but not close enough. If you look, it wasn't close enough to be an official test. It got to 39, and the high, well, it would have been 36. 39. No, and sorry, it got to 39, and the target would have been 42. The target was 42 because the high is 45, and our target is 3 ticks before that. So it missed our target by 3 ticks. Now, the stop, I was saying right here, it has not hit it yet. So you'd still be in the trade. You could still be in it. All right. Um, there's been news all over Financial Juice just about the 15-point plan. Uh, we're not in talks. We are in talks. So clearly there are talks. Let me, we're going to end our YouTube stream. Thank you, everyone on YouTube. That's what I was doing. I was just going over. Now you have the real test. If you just hung in with that magnet, it would have made your money. It worked. It did work. On YouTube, I just wanted to go over. So our setups this morning, MNQ worked. YM, we did not have a magnet at the open. It's now 20 minutes after the open. RTY, another great, excellent expanding trailing trade on the first 2 targets. RTY was great. So another good open. Another good open for everybody watching on YouTube. Thank you, and we will stream tomorrow. And also join our free magnet challenge. The link is in the chat. So hit the like on your way out, and thank you on YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow.